Hello students, in this program we are going to multiply two matrices using nested for loops. The purpose is this: write a program to multiply two matrices. Now suppose we have two matrices which we represent as nested lists in Python, A and B, as shown below. Okay, look at this matrix A and this matrix B. We are representing these matrices as nested lists. Okay, um, a matrix has a certain number of rows. So, those rows are represented by the inner list of the main list, and the items are represented by the items of the inner list. Okay, so we are representing matrices using nested lists of Python. Now uh, look closely that the size of A is 3 comma 2. That means it has 3 rows and it has 2 columns. Similarly, the size of B is 2 rows and 4 columns. Okay, now for the multiplication to be possible, it should be that the number of columns in the matrix A must be equal to number of rows in matrix B. Which is the case here, because the number of columns of A is 2 and number of rows in B is also 2, so multiplication is possible for these two matrices. And also the resulting matrix will have as many rows as the matrix A has, so it will have 3 rows, and it will have as many columns as matrix B has. So that means the multiplication matrix is going to have size 3 by 4. It is going to have 3 rows of 4 items each. Okay, and that is going to be the size of the matrix, multiplication matrix of the two at A and B matrices. Now let us see how the multiplication matrix is computed. See, to obtain an item, what we start is the first item of matrix C is obtained by taking the first row from matrix A and the first column from matrix B. Okay, so first row means items 1 and 2, and first columns of B means items 1 and 5. So we multiply the items at the same column number in A and same row number in B. Okay, so 1 is multiplied by 1 and 2 is multiplied by 5, and these two multiplications are added. So 1 into 1 plus 2 into 5. So what we get is 1 plus 10, 5, 11. Okay, now to obtain the next item, this one, what we do is take the same row 1 2, but take the next column 2 comma 6 of B. Okay, so we multiply 1 by 2 and 2 by 6. Okay, so we get 2 plus 12, 14. Okay, so this in this way we obtain the items in matrix C, the multiplication matrix. Okay, we are naming the multiplication matrix as matrix C. Now similarly, to obtain the next item, the third column of first row of C, we are multiplying the first row items of matrix A with the third row columns, the items of a third column from matrix B. 1 is multiplied by 3 and 2 is multiplied by 7. 1 into 3 plus 2 into 7. Okay, similarly, to find the fourth column item in first row of matrix C, we will multiply the items in first row of matrix A with the fourth column items of matrix B. So we will multiply 1 with 4 and 2 with 8. So 1 into 4 plus 2 into 8. This will be the item at the fourth column of first row. See, now in this way we have computed the first row of matrix C. Okay, now to obtain the second row of matrix C, what we do is select the second row of matrix A, and again we multiply uh, all the columns of matrix B, and multiply and add with the items of row A to obtain the four column values of matrix C in second row. Okay, and similarly, to obtain the third row of matrix C, we select this third row of matrix A, and again multiply each time uh, the items in that row with the items in successive columns of matrix B to obtain the successive values in that third row of matrix C. Okay, the same procedure which we followed in obtaining the items in first row will be repeated for obtaining the items in second and third rows as well. Okay, now uh, that means these are the values which will result by these multiplications and additions, which you can verify. Now the important thing to remember now is that first thing you must remember that for the multiplication to be possible, the number of columns in A must be equal to number of rows in B. See, what we did, look at it again. What we did is we one by one we took the rows of matrix A and the columns of matrix B and multiply each item from the corresponding item from the row and column, so and then add them. So every item from that row must be multiplied with some item from uh, the corresponding column. So it must be it is required that the length of this the item number of items in this row must be equal to number of item in this column, so that each item can be multiplied and added. Okay, so this is very important that you remember that the for the multiplication of two matrices to be possible at all, it is very necessary that number of columns in A must be equal to number of rows in B. Okay, and second thing you have to remember is the procedure that we followed to obtain uh, items in matrix C, the multiplication matrix. What we did was to obtain the value in matrix C at a particular row and a particular column. We have to take the row of A at the same row index and the column of B at the same column index, and multiply and add all the items from that row and that column. Okay, so when we had to find the suppose for look at it again. Suppose we if we talk about this is at row index 1 and column index 0. This item 3 by 1 plus 4 into 5. So this item 3 by 1 plus 4 into 5 is at index row index 1 and column index 0 of matrix C. So how did we obtain this item? We took the row at index 1 from matrix A, which is 3 and 4, and the column at index 0 from matrix B, which is 1 and 5. Okay, we multiplied 3 with 1 and 4 with 5 and added. This is how we obtained. So remember that whichever item you consider in matrix C, how do we obtain it? Suppose a general item suppose a general item is at index I and I comma j, or C square bracket I, C square bracket j, if you consider it. So in general, if you say at row I and column j of matrix C, how do you obtain that item? You have to select the row at index I in matrix A and the column at index j of matrix B, and then multiply and add items in that row and that column. You must remember that procedure. Okay, now having discussed this, uh, we before the program we just repeat here the same points which we have already discussed. It's just that size of actually we want to get familiar with the variables used in the program, so it is good to discuss them a little. So let us see them. A is size, A rows, B columns. Okay, the variable A underscore rows and the variables A underscore columns represent the number of rows in A and the number of columns in A respectively. Similarly, the size of B is B rows comma B columns. That means variable B rows represents the number of rows in B and B columns represents the number of columns in B. And the multiplication matrix C will be size A rows B columns. This is important that as we said earlier, the size of the multiplication matrix will be A rows and B columns. That means matrix C will have as many rows as matrix A has, and it will have as many columns as matrix B has. And the multiplication condition for multiplication is that number of columns in A must be equal to number of rows in B, so that items from a particular row in matrix A can be multiplied with items from a particular column in row matrix B. In matrix B. Now, uh, now see, we need three loops. Why do we need three loops? Let us see this. Now we have to compute A rows, number of rows from C, because as we said, C will have A rows, number of rows in it. Okay, so uh, we have to compute so many rows of matrix C. So therefore obviously we need a loop, because we have to repeatedly compute rows of C one after another. So naturally we can see that we will need a loop. Okay, and we will have a loop variable named C underscore row. Okay, why do we name it C underscore row? Because it represents the row number of matrix C which is being computed. Okay, and it is going to range in the it is going to have values starting from 0 1 2 up to A rows minus 1. Okay, so it is easy to understand that since C is going to have total number of A rows, number of rows, so the last index is going to be A rows minus 1. So our variable loop variable C row is required to have the values starting from 0 and going up to A rows minus 1. Now after this, for each row, so this loop we have discussed that we need a loop for computing every row of matrix C. Now let's see how do we compute every column inside a particular row. So for each row we have to calculate values for B calls number of columns. Okay, as we said, matrix C is going to have B calls number of columns. So we must compute B calls number of values for every row. Okay, every row is going to have B calls number of items. Okay, so that means in this for loop there is going to be another for loop, because for every row we have to compute B calls number of columns. Okay, so for each value of C row, another for loop has to be run with the loop variable C call, which obviously represents the column number of matrix C being computed, and this is going to have values from 0 1 2 3 up to B calls minus 1, because the matrix C has to have B calls number of columns. Okay, so the index will range obviously from 0 to B calls minus 1. Alright, now let us see how do we actually compute a particular item at index C row and C call. See, we said we are going to run a loop with the C row uh, loop variable, which means 0 means which row number we are computing for matrix C, and for this loop we are going to run another for loop inside this for 0 loop for computing every column. Okay, so there is going to be loop inside loop with the second loop variable being C call, representing the column being computed. Now uh, for every column, for every item at C row and C column, for every item at C row and C column index, that is item C index 0 index C call, the value that means the value at column C call in a row C row, we have to multiply items from the row A. So items from a row at index 0 from matrix A and items from uh, column at index C call from matrix B. Okay, that we have discussed in the procedure for obtaining items, multiplication and addition procedure. Okay, so now how many items will there be in a row or a column? Obviously it is equal to A calls or B rows, because these two must be same. As we said, this is the condition for the multiplication to be possible. So obviously we need a another loop inside the two loops already discussed, so that we can multiply this many number of items from a row of matrix. Okay, so remember this, we need we that is to say that for each value of 0 in the first for loop, for each value of C call in the second loop, we have to run another for loop with the loop variable I, and it will range from 0 to 0 1 2 up to A calls minus 1. Remember again, A calls is equal to just B rows, so whether you write A calls or B rows, it doesn't matter. It is going to run for values 0 to A calls minus 1, so that all the items from the row C row of matrix A can be multiplied with all the items from column C call from matrix B to obtain a particular item in matrix C. Now let us see the program. B are shown as before. Okay, and first of all we need to check whether the multiplication is possible or not. For this we need to find the number of rows in matrix A and number of columns in matrix B. Similarly, number of rows and columns of matrix B we have to find. So how do we find the number of rows in matrix A? Obviously the length of this list A, this nested list A, length of A will give us the number of rows. It will tell how many inner lists are there in the nested list A. As we said, the inner lists represent the rows of matrix, so the number of rows will be obtained by length A. Okay, now how do we obtain the number of columns of matrix A? See, number of columns is equal to the number of is equal to the length of inner list. So we can take any inner list and find its length, how many items are there. So we just take A0, the inner list with at index 0, and find its length. It will tell us the number of columns in matrix A. Similarly, we obtain the number of rows for matrix B and number of columns for matrix B. Okay, now the condition for multiplication is tested, that number of columns in matrix A must be equal to number of rows in matrix B, and if these two are not equal, we say A and B cannot be multiplied, and if they are equal, then we proceed for multiplication. Now how do we actually obtain the matrix C? What we do is to start with an empty list for matrix C. We are starting with an empty list for matrix C, and what we are going to do is to compute row after row for matrix C, and are going to append the rows in this empty list one after the other, so that we can compute the complete matrix C. Okay, so as we said, the first loop is going to be used for creating the rows of the matrix C. Okay, so we have used the variable name 0 because it represents the row number of matrix C being computed. So when we write it for C row in range 0 to A 0 a rows. So the writing range 0 a rows will obviously give us value 0 1 2 up to a rows minus 1. Okay, so as we said, remember that matrix C is going to have size a rows, number of rows, and B calls number of columns. Loop must run for the value 0 comma a rows minus 1. This is going to be obtained by this range function, and the loop variable 0 represents the row number being computed. Now how do we actually compute a row? For this we again take an empty list and name it new row. Why do we name it new row? Because it is a new row being computed for matrix C. Okay, and for this new row with empty list, again we will what we will do is to compute every item, every column's value in this matrix, and are going to append those values one after the other in this new row list, so that the complete new row will be created. Okay, so remember we are creating a row at index 0 in this for loop. Okay, now what we do for computing the values at individual columns is that we have to run another for loop, as we discussed. For C call in range 0 to B calls, remember we said matrix C is going to have B calls number of columns, so we write range 0 comma B calls, because every row is going to have B calls number of items in it. And the loop variable C call, its name represents which column number of matrix C is being computed. Now we come to how to actually compute an individual item at a particular row and a particular column. Remember we are at C row and C call in matrix C, and now we want to compute the item at that index. We want to compute item at C. Row index is 0 and column index is C call, because we are in a loop, and 0 and C call values will cover all the possible rows and all the possible columns. Okay, so what we do is to create a new call item. Okay, and initialize it 0. Why do we name it new call item? Because it is, we are computing a new column item. Okay, so we initialize it with 0. Now what we have to do, as we said, since we are computing an item at C row and C column index in matrix C, we have to take row at index C row from matrix A and the column at index C call from matrix B, and multiply all the items in matrix A with all the items in column, all the items of that row in matrix A with all the items at this column of matrix B. So how do we do it? We just use another for loop. Okay, and this time what we loop does is for I in range 0 to A calls. Okay, now why do we write A calls? See, A calls is equal to B rows. Okay, this is the condition for the multiplication. Okay, so A calls, whether we write A calls or whether we write B rows, it doesn't matter, these two are same. All right, so now why this loop is needed? Because we want to take all the items from the particular row from matrix A and multiply them with all the items from particular column of matrix B. So we need a loop so that we can take individual items of matrix A and individual items from matrix B and multiply and add them. Okay, so now how do we are talking about a particular row in matrix A. So I is going to give us the column number in that row of matrix A. Similarly, I is going to give us the row number of the column of matrix B which is being multiplied. Okay, I repeat again, the loop variable I is going to give us the column number for matrix A and the row number for matrix B for the particular row and column being multiplied. Okay, what we do is just find that individual items at index I from row A. Now, which row we are talking about? The same row, C row, which is being computed. As we said, the row with same index from matrix C, which is being computed, the same index C row is to be used from matrix A. The same row is to be selected for multiplication. Similarly, the same column for which the C call item is being computed, the same index column of matrix B is to be selected. And this loop variable I gives the column number in matrix A and row number in matrix B to select the individual items, multiply them, and then the multiplication is added to this new call item. Okay, so new call item accumulates all the values of multiplications from individual items of row C row of matrix A and column C call from matrix B. Okay, and after this loop has done, we have computed the new column item, and what we need to do is to that remember that we created a new row as an empty list. Okay, and we have computed one item for this new row using this for loop. Okay, so what we need to do is to append this new column item to this new row. Okay, this new row will get the new column item is going to be appended to it. Okay, and then again for the next C column value we are again going to run a loop so that we can obtain the next column value of matrix C for the same C row value. All right, so when in this way, when all this all the columns from 0 to B calls will be multiplied with a particular row of matrix A, and all the items in the row C row for matrix C are computed. That means a particular row has been computed. What we need is just to append that row to matrix C. So we write C dot append new row. Okay, and after this has been done for all the C row values from 0 to A rows, then we have, that means we have computed all the rows of matrix C and appended those rows to matrix C, and we just need to print the value of matrix C now, which is the multiplication matrix. Thank you.